Good morning, everybody. I'm Bruce Johnson. Thanks for joining us for this momentous occasion. I've got the pleasure of hosting the 8th annual DMPED's March Madness. Before we go any further, who picked Gonzaga to win it all? After you did. Okay, one guy. Good. We are back by popular demand, of course, with some new and exciting opportunities and announcements. We've all seen the development and progress that Washington, D.C. has made under the leadership of Mayor Muriel Bowser. D.C., of course, is a vibrant city, and the Bowser administration has taken it upon itself to create opportunities for all residents, families, and small business owners. And for those of us who've traveled the world, it's one of the most vibrant cities in all of the world. From a personal point of view, there is no better image than flying into D.C. at night and looking at that skyline and saying to yourself, I'm back home. The legacy of those who have lived in D.C. for many years continues, of course, and the entrepreneurs who have been here for many years continue to grow with new opportunities. We are all gathered here full of hope because we see how we are returning to normal, a new normal full of opportunities for everybody. D.C. is open, and we can see it now in the streets, the activity, the restaurants, bars, events, and job opportunities. And another point of personal privilege here, it's great to see your faces and not you people out here with the mask on. You look great. Which means we got to go back and pick up some of the old habits. So let me be the first to warn you. If you see that little old lady going into the bank with a mask on, call police. She's obviously up to no good. Washington, D.C. is the nation's capital, the most beautiful city in the entire country. All the agencies gathered here are working hard, day by day, to generate a better life for all D.C. residents. Today we celebrate our city, the District of Columbia, and D.C. is open. And now we have an exciting lineup featuring district leaders who are going to showcase many of our upcoming real estate procurements, economic recovery efforts, and updates in housing, business, and workforce. Now, to kick things off, a name, a face you're all familiar with, I'd like to welcome the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development, John Falchicchio, to the stage.
Let's give Bruce Johnson another round of applause. So he'll be our master of ceremonies. He recently worked with Keith Sellers to run the board of the Economic Partnership through a 2-day retreat. So he can bring us all through this morning and this early afternoon session of March Madness. Really excited to be here because, one, there's a lot of opportunities that we're going to talk about today. But then something else that is happening right now is Mayor Bowser presented a $19.5 billion budget to the council just last week. It's the most equitable budget in the history of the city. And there's a lot that we'll talk about today, but in the budget, you'll actually see even more. So the way we've broken this down, and you could see by the slide, I see people leaning forward, some people squinting. It's good to not be staring through a screen. As Bruce said, when we're all on the screen together, everybody thinks we're just a bunch of squares. All right, come on, crowd. We've got to wait this crowd up. So let's get excited about the budget then. So what you see is a couple areas for our equitable economic development. In that, we break it into 3 buckets: housing, neighborhoods, and business. And you see there are some current programs which you're all familiar with. Housing, the first one is the Housing Production Trust Fund. Mayor Bowser has proposed $500 million for 1 year of Housing Production Trust Fund funding in this budget. I know Drew's excited about that. But within housing, you also see a new opportunity. And this is one where we know that data has shown just the huge disparity between white households and black households in the city. And one of the best tools that we have to build wealth is home ownership. So this summer, in June, we'll be kicking off, at Mayor Bowser's direction, the Black Homeownership Strike Force. Now, it's good that we'll have a strike force, and if you've been part of some of our strike forces before, you know that what we do is we set them up for a limited period of time, and then to give recommendations to the mayor, to the council, and to all the folks actually who are going to speak to you today about how we take on that challenge. And the reason this is important, we looked at data from Urban Institute between 2011 and 2014, just in terms of households and what their buying power was in terms of what kind of home they could buy in the District of Columbia. And in that research, the Urban Institute found that white homeowners, or white households, I should say, were able to afford about 67% of houses on the market in that time period between 2011 and 2014. And black households, though, were only able to afford about 7% of those homes that were on the market. So there's a lot we have to do. And what the strike force will do is look at all of the legal, policy, programmatic ways we can make sure that we close that gap and build black wealth. The other thing, though, is that it's not just a strike force that will come up with a report and recommendations, but there's also $10 million of funding, which will seed some of those ideas that the strike force comes up with. So Mayor Bowser wants us always to think about, she puts forth the vision, and then it's our job to put in place the people, the policies, and the programs to see that vision to fruition. So the Black Homeownership Strike Force is something that is new and exciting for this budget. We've also got some great programs in our to help enliven our neighborhoods. You see there are some that are new, some that have been around a little bit. And so what we want to do is make sure that we continue to invest in our neighborhoods. And DMPED has a number of projects across the wards. And what you see in the capital budget for FY23, which for us starts on October 1st, is a real investment to try to get to Mayor Bowser's goal that she set, the citywide goal she set, to create 36,000 new homes by 2025, 12,000 of which would be affordable. And so there's $429 million in our capital plan, which will actually help us advance the very projects that you'll hear about today. And we estimate that if we are able all to work together, so not just the people who are in the front row, but people who are filling this room and people who are watching from hopefully their office, not home, but hopefully their office, that we will be able to build about 6,000 units of housing, 3,700 of which will be affordable. So when we think about all the projects that you'll hear about today, it's important that you have that context. And it's also important for us to check in where we are with that overall goal. So when we go to the next slide, you'll see on the affordable goal, we've actually built since 2019, and again, this isn't me or the people in the front row, this is everybody in this room and folks around the district. We produced 4,007 affordable units since 2019. We should clap for that. Which represents about a third of the goal. And on our overall housing production, we've actually created 21,340 units, which represents 59% of that goal. So you should all be proud of what we've done so far. And the investments I talked about already, the $500 million for the Housing Production Trust Fund, the investments in the capital plan, and all the projects that we're going to talk about today are how we get to where we need to go. So today we're going to give a lot of information. And I know you're going to write this down. I know that you're going to use the hashtag ObviouslyDC to tweet your favorite project, to post it on social media. ObviouslyDC.gov is also where we're going to list all of these opportunities. So we do that now with all of our business development, all of our real estate, and we do that not just for DMPED, but across the agencies. We list those opportunities. So two things to remember to take home today. Take good notes, but remember, it's all going to be posted at ObviouslyDC.gov. And when you see an idea you like or have a question and you want kind of get into a conversation with us, just use that hashtag ObviouslyDC.gov, and that's how we'll be able to keep that conversation going. So with that, I want to bring Bruce back up, but before I do, I need your help on something, because Bruce said an important phrase, which you see at the very bottom of the stage here. One, it's important that all the work we do is to give more Washingtonians a fair shot. But the one that we're all in charge of today, and that you all are ambassadors for afterwards, is that DC is open. So by a show of hands, how many people have been in the office this week? All right, if you see a neighbor who doesn't have their hand up, ask them why. But really what we need to do is we need to get back to the office. We need to get back to the new normal. And that doesn't mean that 100% of the people come back 100% of the time, but we need most of the people to come back most of the time in order for us to get back to, or get to, actually, that better normal, right? So all of you are enlisted in that work. When the mayor speaks today, she's probably going to use that phrase that is at the bottom of the stage that Bruce already mentioned, DC is open, right? So if you hear her say because, the next thing she's going to probably say is DC is open. Feel free to say that along with her, all right? This is going to be an interactive presentation today. So with that, I want to turn it back to you. Let's keep an eye on the budget. It's really important the council will take that up in hearings this month, next month, vote on it in May. Really important that everybody keep an eye on the budget to make sure all these initiatives that we'll talk about are funded in the plan. And then really what we want you to do is continue to be ambassadors for us. Let people know that DC is open. And when they want to do business in the district, the best place for them to go is... Come on, Brenda. One more time for me. .com. All right. So with that, don't worry. We'll practice throughout the day. By the end of the day, we'll all be shouting it. It'll be like a rally. But with that, I want to turn it back to Bruce and get started on some of the opportunities that we have to present today.
Thanks, John. We're going to build up, to where we're really excited, okay? I think that's part of my job, okay? So I'm thinking. Right now, I'd like to welcome DC Housing Authority. No, I skipped over something. To continue the housing theme and provide more updates, I'd like to welcome DHCD's Interim Director, Drew Hubbard.
Good morning. So Bruce mentioned Gonzaga, and only one person copped to having Gonzaga, right? I know there's more busted brackets out there. And you know how I know? When walking around, there's not as many knowing smirks where people are thinking, I'm surely going to get over Saroche this year. But I'm not in that category. Go Kansas for some reason, for a school I've never been to, a state I'll probably never ever see. But all for bragging rights, because of course I don't gamble. But anyway, happy to be here to talk about some of the exciting projects that DHCD is having to contribute to this effort. So these will all be winners, unlike your brackets. All right, I'll stop there. All right, so we will start with a parcel at 58th and Dick Street Northeast. And with these, this is the first of 3 largest solicitations that we're targeting for June of 22 for a request for proposals, where we'll release 58th and Dix, which is a site that's approximately 32,000 square feet, which is a vacant lot at the corner of 58th Street and Dix Southeast in Ward 7. The site is currently zoned MU4, which permits moderate density mixed-use development. The site is well situated and near a number of public amenities, including Marvin Gaye Park, Watts Branch Trail, and H.D. Woodson High School, and also the Strand Theater. Our second parcel is a nearly 13,000 square foot lot in Ward 8's Congress Heights neighborhood. This site is also currently zoned MU4, which permits, again, moderate density mixed-use development. This site is well situated near also a number of public amenities, including, again, the same amenities I mentioned with the last parcel. And third of our larger sites, which again will go out solicitation, is at Benning Road. And this is an approximately 68,000 square foot vacant lot at the corner of Benning Road and G Street Southeast in Ward 7's Fort DuPont neighborhood. It's currently zoned RA1, which permits low to moderate density development, including detached dwellings, row houses, and low-rise apartments. And the site is within close proximity of Fort DuPont, Fletcher Johnson Rec Center, and sits along Benning Road, a major thoroughfare that links the site directly to multiple Metro bus routes and the Benning Road Metro Station. So the next set of opportunities are smaller solicitations that we're looking to really provide capacity building opportunities for smaller housing providers. In order to build a more equitable and inclusive DC, we want the development community to look like the community it serves. To that end, these solicitations will provide for an opportunity for small, local, and disadvantaged businesses to take part in an equity and inclusion prioritization in the competition. These solicitations will be released today. So the first of which is 905 R Street Northwest. It's a beautiful row home rehab opportunity located in Ward 6, right across the street from the new Banneker High School at the former Shaw Middle School site. Next, 1106 3rd Street Northeast, another row home located just blocks south of Union Market and the NOMA Metro stop. And finally, 4404 Foot Street Northeast, an end-cap row home located in the Deanwood neighborhood of Ward 7. So with these opportunities, we are happy that all of these will contribute to our affordable housing needs in the city, as well as helping to build capacity among our development partners. Every unit we build helps push towards our goals for affordable housing and inclusivity here in the district. So we look forward to getting these great projects off the ground and working with you. Thank you.
Drew, thanks a lot for that. Right now, let's bring up DC Housing Authority Director Brenda Donald, good friend.
Good morning, everybody. I got no jokes, no brackets, but I got some great opportunities for you. So I want to thank the mayor, the deputy mayor, and all of my colleagues for inviting us to be part of this today, because in fact the DC Housing Authority is part of DC's great prosperity and opportunities for everybody else. And we have three things that we want to highlight today, three opportunities. The first is for construction manager at-risk services for Judiciary House, which is a senior building in the heart of Chinatown that we've been renovating. We've got people who are living in that building. They're very excited to see that this project gets completely built out. That will upgrade over 100 units for our seniors who really want to stay in place. So we're very excited about that. And that will be coming out very soon. Next on our list are, we're looking for co-development partners. That means developing with us, the Housing Authority, and yes, we are good partners now, to lead a mixed income redevelopment at both Sursum Quarter, Turnkey, and Sibley Townhomes, and the adjacent parking lot, and that's in Ward 6, right across from our current headquarters on North Capitol Street. So these two properties are nestled beside the work happening for the New Communities Initiative at Northwest 1, which is up and coming, and we've got people moving in. It's very exciting. We still have families that are at Sursum Quarter and Turnkey. In fact, I met with them last night, and we're moving very quickly to help relocate them so that we can deliver these properties and ready for redevelopment. And so those will be coming, that will be coming out within the next few weeks. Each property will have its own solicitation for the lots. Those of you who've been around know that we bundled them before. We decided it makes sense to separate those two. Sursum Quarter Turnkey is zoned RA4 and has the potential for at least 130 units. And then we want to expand L Street from North Capitol to First Street in coordination with existing development efforts, so that a whole new look for that area. For Sibley Townhomes, the DC Comprehensive Plan future land use map changes for the property allow for higher density residential density and commercial use that would allow the site to rezone to MU6 or other high density residential focused mixed use. So very exciting projects coming up. And as I said, residents are excited about being able to move away for a temporary time and then move back to their homes. Lastly, we have Square 768, and that is located beside Canal Park and Second Place and L Street in Southeast in the Navy Yard area. You might recall this is part of the former footprint of the Arthur Capper Carrollsburg community. The square 768 is currently being used as temporary parking. But the zoning of MU10 will allow for ground floor retail topped with up to 352 residential units, helping to finish out that long-standing development. We're going to have 73 replacement units, so this continues to contribute to the housing affordability that the mayor has highlighted as a key feature of her agenda. So we're very anxious to get those projects going. We also have a couple of other lots that we'll be announcing to finish out that whole development. So we are here. We are part of DC being open for business. And if you like any of our projects, you're going to do, obviously, DC.com. Thank you.
We're good partners now. I caught that. Thanks, Brenda. Anita Cozart, Interim Director of the Office of Planning.
Good morning. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm pleased to share how the Office of Planning is really supporting these goals around downtown economic recovery and also around the Mayor Bowser's goal of 36,000 housing units by 2025. And we do that through our community planning efforts and our zoning efforts and special initiatives as well. And so our goal is really to seek to engage every resident and property owner and partner using every tool that we have available to realize our affordable housing and economic recovery goals, and thinking about that on every site. So our work in Rock Creek West area, or kind of Ward 3, we're focused on leveraging housing tools, targeted investments, and design strategies to produce over 2,000 additional affordable units. And in a few weeks, we will finalize a small area plan for the Chevy Chase neighborhood, where we have a really significant opportunity that will be coming forward to redevelop a civic center that's going to include a new library, a community center, and much needed affordable housing. In a little over a month, we will begin working with residents in Friendship Heights, Tenleytown, in Woodley Park, and in Cleveland Park to really look at the sets of and identify sets of urban design and zoning tools which are going to help support additional housing capacity in neighborhoods that have yet to really realize and provide the equitable share of market rate, both market rate and affordable housing. And this spring and summer in Ward 5, we're going to launch a series of planning efforts along New York Avenue Northeast and in Ivy City to promote equitable development, and this is going to benefit existing and future residents. And we'll be looking to provide some new retail and civic uses and job opportunities, and then also to really unlock an opportunity to realize over the next couple decades over 33,000 new housing units. This is really provided by the comprehensive plan that was passed just last year. And I am excited to announce that today we're releasing the New York Avenue Roadmap, which is really an opportunity and an invitation for businesses, residents, and other stakeholders to join us in the conversation about New York Avenue and really transforming and reimagining that key corridor. We're also doing some really important work with the Zoning Commission, advancing sets of proposals that are going to unlock these opportunities that Drew and Brenda just talked about. We're going to be proposing criteria that are going to allow property owners to develop small apartment buildings in low-density residential zones, like some of the ones that you saw on the slides before us. In addition, we're going to be looking at sets of criteria that will allow development of accessory apartments on alley lots, which is going to open up some additional affordable opportunities. We're also advancing zoning changes for faith-based properties. It's really important to note that our faith-based institutions are an incredible partnership opportunity. That's 6 million square feet of underutilized land in the district, 6 million. And so we're working in partnership with other agencies to really think about how to unlock those housing opportunities that are there. And we're going to be proposing just next month, in just a couple of weeks, some zoning text amendments that are going to allow those faith-based institutions more options to develop matter of right, more options to develop by special exception, and even more plan unit development options. We are aligning our work with that of my colleagues that you heard from already and the colleagues ahead to make sure that we get the maximum impact out of our programs and our incentives so that our community plans and zoning initiatives really advance the sets of goals that we have for the district. As it relates to downtown economic recovery, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Mayor Bowser led the way in making sure that the district's streets and sidewalks and open spaces could facilitate safe reopening efforts for farmers markets, for restaurants, and other small businesses. And those changes resulted in major impacts for those businesses. We did a survey and found that some of the businesses were able to retain, rehire, or even add additional employees because of the availability of streeteries, the availability of pickup and drop off. So why not build on that? That's just what we're going to do. So in January, we awarded grants, nearly $3 million in grants to downtown organizations that are going to do more of that work, really enliven our streets, our sidewalks, our alleyways with cultural activities, dining, with shopping opportunities, and you're going to start seeing these starting in May. And so that's very exciting. And then lastly, just outside of where we are right now, Pennsylvania Avenue, core, important artery of our downtown. And I'm excited that the district is partnering with the National Capital Planning Commission to reimagine our Pennsylvania Avenue so that whether it's a barbecue battle or whether it's ways that we can celebrate winning sports teams, we can reimagine how that avenue looks with design concepts that are out for public review right now. And so I encourage you to take a look at those. If you want to learn more about what we're doing at the Office of Planning, join us in some of these community planning initiatives. You can visit www.planning.dc.gov and obviously dc.com. And also you can go old school and call us at 202-442-7600. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I'd like to recognize DC Mayor Muriel Bowser, who's joined us. Nice seeing you, Madam Mayor. How many people have the new Ring security system on their homes? Okay. Show of hands. Because I've got it too, and I've got it also, and I know what the problem is now. You don't know how to adjust that. Every time a car passes in front of your house, the ring goes off, so we're all hearing it. So, better you than me, because I've gone through that. It's a good system. Okay, right now, next to the stage, the Department of Energy and Environment's Branch Chief, Katie Bergfeld.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Almost afternoon, I guess. So I'm here, I'm really excited to be here today to tell you about the Affordable Housing Retrofit Accelerator, which is an initiative that will make meaningful changes in affordable housing across the district and will also address issues of equity, health, and energy efficiency. So last year, we came in front of you at March Madness to talk about the district's pioneering energy efficiency program to address the mayor's climate goals, called the Building Energy Performance Standards, or BEPS program. Around that same time, we were given an amazing opportunity from the mayor's office to stand up a program using ARPA stimulus funds to make deep investment in affordable housing to help us move towards those climate goals. Using these dollars, we stood up the Affordable Housing Retrofit Accelerator. This program aims to target around 140 affordable housing projects across the district, both covenanted affordable housing projects and naturally occurring affordable housing projects. The impact of this will reach about 20 million square feet of buildings, and reach over 22,000 affordable housing units. We have stood up this program with a lot of support from our partners, and it wouldn't have been possible without our agency partners at DHCD, DCHA, Office of Planning, DMPED, and the Mayor's Office. Since the beginning of the fiscal year, in terms of where we are with implementing this program, we've been working with our core partners, the DCSCU, the DC Sustainable Energy Utility, for those of you that are not familiar with the DCSCU, and the DC Green Bank, who will be speaking later, to sort of work out the details of the program. This year, there will be about $35 million to go towards these 140 affordable housing projects. We have already vetted 40 applications through this project, and we have started providing no-cost energy audits in the eligible buildings. I'm going to be very short and just end it there and say that we are here to work with you all as we work towards the Mayor's ambitious climate goals. And if you need any more information on this program, you can visit the website at the bottom of the slide. Thank you.
Katie, thank you. Now from the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs, we want to welcome Account Manager Mark Anthony Tynes.
And good morning. It's my pleasure to represent the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs. Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs, who we are and what we do. The Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs protects the health, safety, economic interest, and quality of life of residents, businesses, and visitors in the District of Columbia by ensuring code compliance and regulating business. All right. Improving our customer service is one of our fundamental responsibilities. In 2020, DCRA introduced a new customer service relationship management system that was instrumental in our successfully fielding customer inquiries and moving them across the agency and onto the resolution while maintaining a record of each inquiry. This means when you give us a call, when you email us, it goes into a system where we can all here at DCRA locate it and answer your question and keep a record of it. Whether you contact DCRA via email, through our online inquiry form, or during normal business hours, using the live chat available on dcra.dc.gov or by phone at 202-442-4400, we will get back to you within 3 business days. Next, please. All right, customer inquiries are responded to within 3 business days, permanent application pre-screening completed within 2 business days, and subsequent plan reviews completed within 15 business days, and most importantly, line safety property maintenance inspection completed within 1 calendar day. These are some of DCRA's service level agreements. Next. One of my favorites here, DCRA ward-based account managers. To serve district residents, businesses, and stakeholders more efficiently and effectively, we instituted an account management program to provide each ward with a single dedicated contact for escalated inquiries and community engagement. This will increase accountability, strengthen our customer service, and build better relationships within the community. Basically, a person that you can rely on to get what you need done. DCRA pre-approved plans. Very new. However, jumpstart your building project by using a DCRA pre-approved plan. Choose from a selection of plans that are pre-approved by DCRA and connect with the design professional purchase plans for use. Pre-approved plans make it easier to get building permits and shortens wait time and putting existing plans within easy reach. So you choose a plan, you choose a design from the library of pre-approved plans that fits your needs. You contact the design professional, the licensed design professional, and submit the plan through our Permit Wizard. The DCRA Permit Wizard is a simpler, easy to use permit application that guides homeowners through the residential permitting process, so please use it for all of your permits. All right. And this is also great news. DCRA business licensing fee reductions. Through September 30th, 2022, DCRA will not be charging application and examination fees for occupational and professional licenses. All occupational and professional license renewal fees are reduced to $99. DCRA is waiving the application fee of $70 and the endorsement fee of $25 for each application and renewal for general business license and employment services. All right. But I'm going to keep it short and sweet, and thank you for your time.
Short and sweet. We like that in television. Without further ado, let's bring on the star of the show, Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to March Madness. I'm really happy to be here. As I was sitting here, I was thinking about March Madness 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I remember introducing a few ideas, like the entertainment and sports arena that went from idea to funding to construction to world championship. And I'm thinking about the wharf, where we have been able to open that project, start phase 2, and put DC residents to work. I'm thinking about Walter Reed, that is under construction, where Children's National is already doing groundbreaking research for children, and where a Whole Foods market is on the way. I'm also thinking about Skyland, and that we've been able to deliver it, start construction on Aledo, the first market to start in Ward 7 in 20 years, and how we've been able to deliver food access grants that are taking successful businesses that have opened and operated throughout Washington, D.C., and use seed money from the government so that they can open in Ward 7. So I'm proud of the work that we've been able to announce here at March Madness to let you know what we're thinking about, you who will partner with us in making sure that these plans and these ideas come to fruition. This is our thought, that if we let you know what the government is buying, you'll go out there and deliver it for us. We talk about it here at March Madness, and we also print it annually in the district's Green Book. Has anybody seen the Green Book? Okay, make sure you get a copy of the Green Book. And I hope you recognize from all the speakers before, and I first want to acknowledge the Deputy Mayor, John Falchicchio, and the DMPED team. Give them a big round of applause. DMPED delivers. We've also been very focused in March Madness on how we're going to reach our goals of more affordable housing in the district. You know, like I do, that D.C. residents love their city. They've never been more proud of Washington, D.C., but they remain anxious about how they can afford to live here. And so we have been committed in the last 7 years in making sure we're doing more than has ever been done to build affordable housing in Washington. So with our budget last year, we hit $1 billion of funding. With my proposal this year, is $500 million more to get out the door. So that means we need great projects in every corner of Washington. That doesn't mean that every stick of affordable housing is going to be built in Ward 8, but it's going to be built in Ward 3 too. So we have a few things that we want to be very intentional about. We want to be intentional about, as we always have been, how do we get more local businesses connected to local DC projects? And part of your being here is doing exactly that. You know for sure, first, what is going to be available. You're making connections with each other, and you're participating actively in the solicitation process. That's one way. Another intention we have is to make sure that DC residents are being hired on all of these jobs. So you told me a little while ago that we had to do more to make sure that DC residents were ready. And that's exactly what Director Unique Morris-Hughes spends her entire day thinking about. How can more DC residents connect to good paying jobs? you heard me when I said good paying jobs, because it takes good paying jobs to afford these great housing units that we're going to build across the city. And that's why we created the DC Infrastructure Academy that's trained 1,900 DC residents that have been placed in good paying jobs since it's been open in 5 years. And that's a good thing. But Unique needs your help. She needs to make sure that as you are developing your projects, you're hiring your contractors, you're hiring your design professionals, that you're also asking them what is their plan to hire DC residents. This year as well, in the budget that I have presented to the council, it includes a $40 million package of legacy initiatives. And those initiatives are designed to help DC residents and DC businesses afford to stay in DC. So I hope that you will review those initiatives, like the Commercial Acquisition Fund that you can apply for, where the government will help you buy your building if you're a business that's renting your building in DC. I hope that you will also pay attention and share with DC homeowners how they can become homeowners with the Black Homeowners Fund, and also the legal services that are available to DC residents so that they can plan their estates. Nobody wants to talk about it. They need to plan their estates and make sure that the wealth that they've built in their own homes or businesses can be transferred to their families. I also had the great privilege of representing us and talking to the United States Department of Transportation. I met with Secretary Buttigieg to let them know that DC was ready to participate in every single competitive dollar that's coming out of the infrastructure and investment plan. Every single dollar. I announced yesterday our infrastructure task force, the DC Build Back Better Infrastructure Task Force. And I want you to follow the work of that task force over the course of several months to help us source ideas for how we will use our formula dollars. And also how we will go after competitive grants. So follow that process with us as well. So these are all of the ways that we will ensure an equitable comeback for DC. Being intentional about how we work with DC businesses, how we hold ourselves accountable for hiring DC residents, how we make real the promise of an equitable recovery by focusing on our legacy business owners and our residents. That's how we can do it together. Now, I know for sure that the last 2 years have tried to knock us down, haven't they? They've tried hard, but we stuck together. We followed the science. Our teams have done our level best to deliver an historic amount of recovery dollars to the bridge fund, to our commercial acquisition funds, to our hotel funds, to our arts funds, to rent relief. You name it. We've turned economic development professionals into doing another type of work. And that work was really relief so that economic development could start again. I'm really proud that we've been able to come out on the other end of this, mostly intact. But there are big, big pieces of our economy that were leveled by this. And so the work that we have ahead is serious, it's complex, but we have the tools and the resources and definitely the talent to deliver. So I want you to look at these projects. I want you to bring your biggest ideas. I want you to think even more broad about how you can include each other in working on these projects. And I want you to continue to give us ideas. I want to thank and acknowledge one of our partners on the council, Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie, who is here. Give Councilmember McDuffie a big round of applause. Who has really been helpful in helping us move a lot of emergency dollars but also think about programs that are going to ensure that we have an equitable recovery. So once again, thank you. Thank you for your big ideas in advance, and let's get ready for the comeback.
In case you didn't hear her, she said, come with your biggest ideas. Madam Mayor, thank you very much. Right now, let's bring up Councilman Kenyon McDuffie.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Bruce Johnson. So I'm Kenyon McDuffie. I represent Ward 5 on the Council of the District of Columbia. I also chair the Council's Committee on Business and Economic Development. And welcome to March Madness 2022. So this is a showcase, and I know we've heard already, of the district's real estate development, housing, business opportunities. And I really want to thank Mayor Muriel Bowser for assembling us all in here today and all the work that she's done on economic development, but also to help spur the district's economic resurgence in the midst of this global pandemic. Let's give her a round of applause for all her efforts and work. Also, I want to recognize her team, led by Deputy Mayor John Falchicchio, all the folks at DMPED, and all the other agencies that work to support the economic development in the District of Columbia. Let's give them a round of applause for all their efforts as well. We really appreciate you. So we're in a good place this year. We are in a good place. We can convene and gather in public, and I'm also excited about being in this really large room, Madam Mayor, with all these great people, many of whom I have not seen in a couple of years without masks. That is a big deal, and I want to acknowledge that. I think sometimes we take certain things for granted, but as we're coming out of this pandemic, I think it's important that we recognize this is no small thing for you to have to convene this in this way. The district's FY23 gross operating budget, as you know, to combined nearly $20 billion, an increase of more than $1 billion from last year, and our revenues are back to pre-pandemic levels. That's huge. Reaching this point is no small accomplishment, yet we still have some way to go because our recovery is still slightly uneven. Those at the top of our economic ladder continue to do well, and we must acknowledge that those who were hit hard before the pandemic are still feeling the pains of the pandemic. The district CFO estimates that employment in the district will not fully recover until fiscal year 2025. This is why March Madness is so incredibly important. It signals that the district remains strong and that the district is open, which is important for everybody to know around our region and across the country and across the world. It unlocks the city's local procurement powers. It also is part of the signal that the economic engine that created the much needed affordable housing, business opportunities for small, minority, and women-owned businesses, and well-paying jobs for district residents. March Madness creates the energy that I see and feel in this room because of the real promise it offers to the people who are going to help get us back to where we were. It is our obligation as government leaders to extend the full faith and credit and resources of the district to remedy some of the inequities that we see across the city, but also to make sure that these projects are putting our people to work. Last year, I'm excited. I was able to work with my colleagues at the council and work with Mayor Muriel Bowser and her team, and we put $4 million to make the Commercial Property Acquisition Fund a reality for socially disadvantaged business owners to stay and grow their businesses in the district by purchasing their commercial real estate. Earlier this week, the first two recipients of this funding were announced, with 10 additional business owners closing really soon. And I'm pleased that Mayor Bowser has allocated an additional $4 million to that fund for fiscal year 2023. Two years ago, I established in the council a new certified business enterprise designation, the Equity Impact Enterprise, and it created an Equity Impact Fund to provide gap funding for instances where traditional lending to small minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, was inadequate or unavailable. I'm pleased, again, that Mayor Muriel Bowser has allocated an additional $2 million to that fund. I want to give a recognition for that as well. And after a series of conversations a few years ago that I had with minority developers here in the District of Columbia about the challenges that they face, I encouraged DMPED to establish an equitable RFP process and to work with the mayor, my colleagues in the council, to prioritize developers and development teams of color when they serve as primes in equity partnerships for development. And I'm thrilled that not only has the mayor established that program with Deputy Mayor Falchicchio and the teams, but we've seen projects awarded under that criteria, and we are seeing the sorts of progress that we need to continue to close some of the gaps that have existed in our city for so long for minorities and the folks who've been doing this work in our city for quite some time. And so I'm excited about what the future portends for the District of Columbia. I'm excited that the future economic growth of our city is going to be more inclusive, and I'm excited that we're here today to celebrate March Madness 2022. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, for allowing me to be a part of this, and thank you all for being here this afternoon.
Councilman McDuffie, thank you very much. So, the next gentleman coming up tells me he's known only by his first name. That's iconic status, if you ask me. We're going to switch gears right now and talk real estate. To kick things off, I present to you DMPED's Real Estate Director, Sarosh.
Thank you very much. First of all, I wasn't expecting to follow Mayor Bowser or Councilmember McDuffie. My remarks are going to be a lot less equitable. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. First of all, I want to introduce myself. Good morning, everybody. I am Sarosh Obadawala, Director of Real Estate. Today I will be providing an update on the RFPs that we plan to issue. But I do want to echo our Deputy Mayor's enthusiasm about the progress we have made and everything we have been able to deliver for the residents of the district. I am grateful for Mayor Bowser. Her proven leadership has been invaluable. We have been able to accomplish so much under Mayor Bowser. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge my team's countless hours and dedication, and the community's continued engagement and support, and of course to all of you, the industry, for your partnerships to make these projects a reality. Thank you. This year we continue our focus on improving equity in development, expanding inclusive prosperity, creating pathways to the middle class, and providing much needed affordable housing for the district. First up, we have the Chevy Chase Community Center and Chevy Chase Neighborhood Library site. This is in Ward 3, and as the name implies, this site currently houses two critical and well-used community amenities. The Office of Planning is currently undertaking a small area plan in the Chevy Chase neighborhood along Connecticut Avenue. The SAP will be a guiding vision for inclusive growth and include the OP's priorities for housing production, economic development, and equity and racial justice. This project will include new facilities for both the Chevy Chase Community Center and Chevy Chase Neighborhood Library. In the air rights above the facilities, the project is envisioned to include new residential units, including high quality, affordable housing, and senior housing. DMPED will continue to collaborate closely with the community, including hosting interactive community meetings with DPR and DCPL to ensure new facilities are aligned with the community's needs and preferred uses. The RFP is scheduled to be released in early 2023 to allow for completion of OP's small area plan. Next, we have 1617 U Street, better known as the MPD 3rd District Headquarters and DC FEMS Engine 9. This site is in Ward 1. The property's location near transit and its proximity to U Street make it an attractive site prime for new development. The location is currently zoned MU4. However, it was upflummed, as the term may be, in the 2021 Comprehensive Plan, envisioning a high-density mixed-use site. And DMPED is encouraging respondents to maximize the development opportunity. Both municipal uses need to be retained on site. However, the district will require ground floor activation, particularly along U Street, as well as a mix of neighborhood-serving retail and other community amenities. This RFP is scheduled to be released in the fall. Next, and finally, we have another FEMS site, this time the historic Engine 3 in Ward 2, which also houses the DC FEMS and EMS Museum. The museum is actually very interesting. It includes a lot of photos, a lot of memorabilia, and a lot of old apparatus. It is definitely worth a visit. The site is in the downtown east neighborhood, just a few blocks from the U.S. Capitol, and it is within walking distance of Union Station and multiple bus stops. Due to the diversity of other neighborhood uses, we are very open to considering both commercial and residential for the property. Either way, however, the redevelopment must include returning the engine company and the FEMS Museum, and of course preserving the historic fire station. This RFP is scheduled to be released this summer. All three RFPs will be issued as equity RFPs. Mayor Bowser's groundbreaking initiative to enhance equity and make DC's prosperity more inclusive. To facilitate equitable access to the district development projects, DMPED will prioritize teams that maximize by a percentage of ownership and control entities designated as disadvantaged business enterprises and or resident-owned businesses, or any entities including nonprofits and community institutions led by or majority controlled by individuals designated as socially disadvantaged. We have already issued a number of RFPs under the Equity RFP program. They have been extremely successful, and we hope to continue that success with its designation. For more information on these projects, please visit our website, DMPED.dc.gov. We look forward to continuing to work with all of you, the community, and our agency partners on development in Washington, D.C. With that, I would like to transition to our next speaker, Keith Anderson, the Director of the Department of General Services, to tell you more about opportunities with his agency. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarosh, and good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Keith Anderson, the Director of the Department of General Services, and under Mayor Bowser's leadership, it is my job to build, maintain, and sustain the District of Columbia's real estate portfolio. But before we begin, one thing, I just want to make this clear. Everyone in this room's bracket is busted, right? So there's only one team to watch. So I'll make this easy for you. The University of North Carolina will take it home this year, and they're on tonight at 9:39, so get your popcorn ready. All right. Now, the mayor has made some significant investments in our city, and I'm very proud to share with you 6 of those investments, which will be great opportunities for our business community. So first up, First up is a project from the DGS Capital Construction team. The Pat Handy Shelter project will consist of major interior and exterior renovations to the existing women's shelter located at 810 5th Street Northwest. Now, the scope of this work includes replacing the elevator, installing a new HVAC system, installing exterior waterproofing, and light interior finishes. The RFP will be released this spring, and we are excited for this project to be completed in the fall of 2023. The budget to complete this project will be approximately $3.8 million. Next, on behalf of DC Public Schools, DGS will be soliciting for a design builder for the modernization of the Truesdale Elementary School. The scope of this work involves a full modernization of the facility and property. The scope will also include a child development center that will serve a limited number of infants and toddlers and expand DCPS's pre-kindergarten seats. The RFP will be released this summer for a scheduled project completion in summer of 2025. The budget for this project is approximately $90 million. Oh, yeah. Up next, for the Department of Parks and Recreation, the Fort Lincoln Park Recreation Center renovation project, that's right, includes the construction of a new 43,000 square foot recreation and early childhood education center and the renovation of the Fort Lincoln Park. The new recreation center will include amenities such as a full-size gymnasium, an elevated running track, fitness rooms, racquetball, and a whole host of other activities for the Fort Lincoln community. The budget for this project is $40 million. The RFP will be released this spring, and the work completion is anticipated for spring of 2024. Up next, the Junior Achievement Academy project is a joint partnership between the Junior Achievement Academy and DC Public Schools. The concept of this project is to convert a 13,000 gross square foot historic building, which was the old DPR headquarters located on 3149 16th Street Northwest, from general office use to a flexible space to be used by the Junior Achievement of Greater Washington. The RFP will be available this fall. Completion is expected in winter of 2024, and the budget for this project is $9 million. Up next, this project is the Office of the State Superintendent of Education's 5th Street bus lot located at 2115 5th Street Northeast, my apologies. This project is a 12,000 square foot renovation of an existing 2-story building and site to increase functionality for drivers and includes upgrades to mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC systems and a new elevator. The RFP is expected and completion is winter of 2023. The RFP is expected to be released soon. The budget for this project is approximately $4 million. And last but not least, the Daly Building, the headquarters for the Metropolitan Police Department, will be receiving renovations. This includes moving the Joint Operations Control Center and the Central Cell Block from the Daly Building to the Marion Barry Jr. Building and 501 New York Avenue, respectively. In order to accommodate the MPD headquarters at the Marion Barry Building, renovations will take place on levels 1C, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 11. Currently, the solicitation for the renovations at the Marion Barry Building have been advertised as of the 18th of this month, and work is anticipated to be completed by fall of 2023. The budget is $15 million for this project. For more additional information and additional projects, please visit DGS at dgs.dc.gov for a full listing of solicitations. Thank you, everyone.
I didn't know that it was permitted to shout out the name of your team once you got up here. I don't have a dog in this race anymore because my team, which was hyped to begin with, Kentucky, they were overrated, one player, so they were out. I'm looking at Villanova and maybe Duke. North Carolina hasn't been that good since Michael Jordan, right? Why'd somebody roll a basketball out here next? Delano Hunter is coming up next, Department of Recreation.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Delano Hunter, and I'm proud to serve as the director of the D.C. Department of Parks and Recreation. And at DPR, we have an unofficial title, right? We are the agency where fun happens, right? We're in the fun business. We love to have fun. But with that fun comes an awesome responsibility, duty, and obligation, as we're one of the few agencies. There are some, but we're one of the few agencies that serve residents from their very early years through their senior years. And in order to do that, we have wonderful staff, but we need world-class facilities that help us to meet our mission. And I'm proud to say that in 2021, we were ranked by the Trust for Public Land as having the #1 park system in the nation. Now, this is a sore spot for many of my colleagues around the nation. They tell me, they say, hey, Delano, that's all fine and dandy, but it's the National Park Service. That's the monument. They're not talking about D.C. But if you dig into the rankings, they cite the local investments in our dog parks, in our pools, in our aquatic features, in our tennis courts as the reason that we're ranked #1 because of the equitable investment. And that's because of the vision and leadership of our Mayor, Muriel Bowser. So we like being #1, right? We like being a district of champions. And in order to be #1, we have to make additional investments to ensure that we have world-class facilities. So we're going to dig into a few. Next slide. Now, I'm not going to belabor the point. Director Anderson has mentioned Fort Lincoln, but I want to make this a little more personal. Outside of my home, I think I spent more time on this 27 acres than anywhere else growing up. This is my elementary school, the former Fort Lincoln Elementary School, which went through 8th grade. Also home of the Fort Lincoln Recreation Center at the time that I grew up. So I spent a lot of time in this parcel. So I'm excited because we have an opportunity to activate the entire 27 acres, which is one of our largest parcels in our inventory, in addition to a recreation center with an elevated walking track, with our second largest fitness center with the full gym, a demonstration kitchen. It'll also include an 8,000 square foot early childhood centers. But we're not just focusing on the facility. The park space, which was once the crown jewel of our inventory, transferred from the federal government during the 70s, has not been ADA accessible, so it isn't inclusive for all residents to be able to enjoy that green space. So we're looking at activating the entire parcel, and we have a wonderful design firm on board. The community, we had 100 folks participate in our community meeting a few nights ago, and we look forward to bringing on a construction manager, so be on the lookout for RFP this spring. Now let's talk about the Douglas Recreation Center. This sits on a 5.2 acre site in the Great Ward 8. And why I'm excited about this one, because this site harkens back to an old recreation model when recreation was something that was seasonal. You did during the summer months and you had an outdoor pool. And we know now in the 21st century it doesn't meet the full and dynamic needs of our community. So the goal is to upgrade this facility to have greater connectivity between the pool and the recreation center to offer year-round comprehensive recreation. So it's just a 5,000 square foot facility now. We're building fitness centers that are 3,000 and 4,000 square feet. So we're excited about this and be on the lookout for an RFP so we can get a design firm so we can start to engage our community this spring. And last but not least, I want to discuss the Upshur Recreation Center in Ward 4. Now, this pool that you see hosts over 50,000 visitors each summer to that pool. The recreation center, just a fraction, not so much. Again, it was built in the 1960s. It sort of harkens back to an older model of recreation, and with this investment, we'll have greater connectivity between those two amenities, just like we have at Douglas, and we're proud to work with the Department of General Service to release an RFP this spring to bring on board a design firm so we can engage the community. So those are just 3 projects. There are many, many more, some great, some large, some small, but all will be equally impactful in ensuring that the district maintains its status as having the best parks and recreation system in the nation. Thank you all.
So, where'd you get that voice? You sound like a television anchor man. You make a lot more money, fewer hours. I'm just saying. Okay, you got to have options these days. The mayor's like, hey. Now from the DC Green Bank, we'd like to welcome to the stage CEO Ellie Hobson.
Thank you. I'm Eli Hobson, CEO of the DC Green Bank, and March Madness is a really special time for me, so I really want to thank you, Mayor and Deputy Mayor, for the chance to be here today. It's the DC Green Bank's first March Madness, and I love March Madness. I grew up in a small state. We don't have professional sports teams. We had the University of Kentucky basketball team, but we won't talk about that anymore. So what is DC Green Bank? We were established with the vision of the mayor in 2018. We use public dollars to leverage private dollars to support sustainable infrastructure in the city. And we really took the mayor's vision of focusing on sustainability, creating jobs for DC residents, and inclusive prosperity. So making sure that our investments are benefiting all residents of DC. And we've implemented that successfully over my almost 2 years now at DC Green Bank. So our vision is a thriving, clean economy for all DC. And we look to work with all of you. Our audience is all building owners, all contractors, all nonprofits, community service institutions, and small businesses. What we look to try and fund here in DC, and our sector focus, is solar, high-performing buildings, so we're excited to be here with the real estate community, stormwater management, green infrastructure, and also electric vehicle charging and electric vehicles. We look to work at every stage of the project, and we've successfully closed pre-development, we've successfully closed construction loans, and we've successfully closed permanent financing for these types of projects. Our Navigator pre-development loan has rates available as low as 1.99% for affordable housing and nonprofits. So if you're in that space, you don't know where to start, you're looking to do a sustainable project, come and talk to us. Next slide, please. So some of the projects that we've done, I mentioned solar. We've done community solar across the city. We've done multiple solar for all construction facilities with our partners at DOEE. We've also created revolving credit facilities for solar developers to help them grow their business. We're really proud that the solar developers that we've partnered with were trying to expand their business, grow larger projects, and do work that they hadn't been done before. So traditional banks, they wanted to see, have you done a $2 million project before? Have you done a $7 million project before? And the flexible dollars that we have at the DC Green Bank are able to help support those developers as they grow, help them move into the ownership model, working with developers to really build a generational wealth for underrepresented minorities is a key piece of what we do, and we're very excited to be working on that. We've done pre-development for net zero affordable housing. I'm excited to help contribute to the mayor's goal on affordable housing. It's a critical piece of what we do. We've also closed stormwater construction facilities where we're providing dollars that are based on the inflow of stormwater retention credits, and we're creating value for those property owners, whether it's churches, whether it's cemeteries, or whether it's schools in the MS4 section of the city. So really excited to be working on that. And then closing, hopefully today, we want to announce that we have invested in Shiloh Baptist Church to upgrade their energy efficiency systems, replacing their HVAC, and using the savings that they're going to see over the next 10 to 15 years to finance that. So that's hopefully closing today, fingers crossed, but a little bit of an announcement there from us on that. So looking forward, we have several partnerships that we wanted to announce. We are a proud participant of the Retrofit Accelerator, which my colleagues from DOEE mentioned, working with DCSU on that. Over the summer, we will be launching a dedicated building energy performance standard financing window with products that are designed to help building owners meet BEPS. We've also announced one and will be announcing another private capital partnership with local CDFIs to reach small businesses that are making loans that are smaller than we can manage, but really loans up to $150,000 with rates as low as 3%. So small businesses, we are looking to work with you through our CDFI partners in particular. We are providing technical and management support to borrowers. We can take the time to develop a special product if we don't have something that works for you. We can create a new product. We want to hear from you and your needs, and looking to meet all of those with our flexibility. And then coming soon, hopefully within the next month, but at least the next 2 months, we will be launching a program with a credit union to support all DC residents when they want to make investments in their homes, in their vehicles, to do those upgrades. So be watching the DC Green Bank for that. We're excited to be launching that. Contact information is on the next slide, and look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I'm told Councilmember Anita Bonds is en route. She's running a little bit late, but she's looking forward to addressing this group. Time to switch gears once again and provide business updates and announcements. So to provide updates on business recovery and support, I'd like to welcome DMPED's Director of Business Development, Sabangala Cook, to the stage.
All right, so I don't have a development project to share. Green Bank, that's not us either. But on behalf of the mayor, I have some investment dollars. Anybody interested in that? Yes? We have any small businesses here? Maybe? I see some hands. Okay, super. So good afternoon. My name is Sabangala Cook. I am the Director of Business Development and Strategy at DMPED. And the first investment that I'm going to talk about is the Small and Medium and Business Growth Fund. This is a $5.4 million fund. I'm going to say that one more time. It's a $5.4 million fund. This is an opportunity for the Bowser administration to invest in our growing small businesses who may have large equipment purchases, tech upgrades or enhancements to scale, also capital improvement dollars, just to name a few things that this opportunity is for. The awards range anywhere from $25,000 to $100,000. I'm going to say that one more time. Ranges from $25,000 to $100,000 for businesses. Yes? The application is going to open in April 22nd. That's a Friday. Leading up to that, you'll be getting more and more information because we want people to be grant ready for this opportunity. I need for you to be ready for this and take advantage of these opportunities that are available. Also, this is for businesses, this is for retailers, this is for professional services, this is for tech companies, this is for commercial business industries as well. So this opens up an opportunity for a much larger universe of businesses that'll be able to take advantage of this opportunity. Anybody excited about that? Yes? Oh, okay. Wonderful. Fantastic. I'm going to go on to the next one. This is one that's already been open and available, but we've made some new enhancements to this one. It is the Special Event Relief Fund. Very excited about this opportunity as well. This is a $3 million fund to create opportunities for those who are creating experiences outdoor through the summer, throughout the year, and we absorb the cost of those district fees, permits. Somebody say that again. Somebody got excited? Lovely. And we want you all to take advantage of this opportunity. Like I said, it'll cover it'll absorb those costs by the district, those fees that you'll incur from MPD, DPR, DDOT, DPW, DOH, DCRA, ABRA as well. Yes, somebody's clapping. That's a great thing. You guys should expect to see a lot of amazing activations through the course of the summer, right? Is everybody going to get out? Because what has everybody been saying so far? DC. You heard? Okay. All right. Okay. And where are you going to find all this information? Deputy Mayor, they were taking notes. They were taking notes when you said it. And so the enhancement that we've also created is an opportunity to even absorb some of those costs when you're talking about tents or AV and things like that for setup as well. So we'll be taking a look at those. We would like for you to apply at least 45 days before your event, please. Okay? Yes? Please don't do it the day before. 45 days in advance is recommended, okay? This is a $3 million fund, again, so that we can have beautiful experiences here in D.C. for our residents, for people who come to visit. We hope that you take advantage of this. The email address and all of that information will be where once again? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Workforce theme speakers. It's time to shift to our final theme of the day, workforce. Next to the stage, I present Director Dr. Unique Morris-Hughes from the Department of Employment Services.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I know that this is March Madness and a DMPED event, but I'll tell you, if we were at 4058 Minnesota Avenue, we'd be playing the Isley Brothers saying we have work to do, because DC is open and district residents are willing and wanting to work. So I have to tell you, we were so excited to be invited today. I might have the most slides. Because of that, I will go through them very quickly and I will not read every single slide. So let's get to work and talk about what's happening at the Department of Employment Services. So we have very, very, very big announcement last week. The mayor helped us introduce some of her investments at the DC Infrastructure Academy, which we are very proud of, and which President Biden mentioned us as a national model of training district residents in infrastructure related or infrastructure positions. But last week we released a RFA of up to $10 million. I did say up to $10 million. You can clap for that. To get 2,000 residents, at least 2,000 residents prepared to successfully enter the workforce. That RFA is open and on the street right now as we speak. I encourage everybody to check it out and apply. We also recently have made an award of $500,000 to 2 community-based organizations for a Jobs Ready grant. This is for our district residents that don't need as much training and that are ready to go to work today. Additionally, a few years ago in this administration, we created the Pivot Partnership with Georgetown. So we connected DC residents, and we're still connecting DC residents with Georgetown University high quality training in entrepreneurship and business and legal services. And then when we created this, the announcement had not been out yet, but Mayor, under your leadership, and as of July 1, we will raise the training wage from $12.50 an hour to align with minimum wage, which will be $16.10 per hour. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, because we know people shouldn't have to choose between training and earning a wage. So that is $16.10 per hour. Next slide. I will go through this very quickly, I promise. We also created what we called a common labor initiative. We understand how important First Source is, but we also understand the labor market. And I'm very clear about the supply and demand. And so we now have a pathway and opportunity for our district residents that want a opening into the construction trades to now obtain positions as a general laborer, which requires less technical skills, but gets their foot into the door so they can obtain the technical skills that they need. We're very, very, very proud of this. If you want to learn more on how to meet your First Source compliance with all these wonderful construction projects, please reach out to us and we will help you get there. Next slide, please. The DC Infrastructure Academy, we are super, super excited of what I call the Office of Talent and Client Services, because I am super clear that DC residents are talented and competitive candidates ready to not just work in the district, but the region. And so just like the mayor said, we're coming for every single competitive dollar. Well, our district residents will be prepared and coming for every single job that is available, not just in the District of Columbia, but in the region. So we will continue to build our muscle in our Office of Talent and Client Services, and we will also add an additional $5.2 million to expand DCIA programs and add an additional 200 slots to DCIA. Apprenticeship, there's a lot of discussion with apprenticeship that's taking place right now. And you see how excited I got because there's about 500 words on this slide. But what you need to know is 3 things. More apprenticeship opportunities, which means this is paid work experience where an employer hires a candidate directly. 2, we are opening the doors to youth apprenticeship, so we can get our young people prepared early to enter into all sorts of apprenticeable fields, not just construction, but healthcare, IT. And then the third thing, there is money to support businesses who are ready to take on a talented DC resident candidate today. So those are the most 3 important things you need to know about this slide. Next, please. And then next, Office of Unemployment Compensation. So some of you all may know me for unemployment compensation. And earlier in the pandemic, it was more about applications that were filed. But I'm really proud to say that DC is a model in how we run our unemployment compensation program. So much so that we are one of 6 states that was just awarded a $2.2 million grant to improve our equitable practices to make sure that we eradicate and eliminate any barriers as it relates to accessing unemployment. And we were able to do this because of the investments that the mayor has made into our program. So if you want to learn more about what we are doing, feel free to visit our website. And remember, not only is DC open, but we got work to do because DC residents are ready to work. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That was excellent. Now we'd like to bring to the stage the masterminds behind the Google Tech certification. Please welcome Google.org's Head of Impacts and Insights, Andrew Duckelman, and CEO of Community and College Preparatory Academy, Jason Lodi.
Good afternoon. Thank you to the mayor and the deputy mayor for having us this afternoon. Google's called DC home for 15 years now, and we are growing. In fact, in 2020, our CEO Sundar Pichai announced that it would be one of 4 growth hubs for Google, given the incredible local diverse talent here in the region. At Google, we believe that job opportunities created by technology should be available to everyone, and that includes all DC residents. 2/3 of jobs today require digital skills, but many people, especially underrepresented folks, experience barriers to access those skills and those good-paying jobs that come with them. So today, I'm excited to announce that we are deepening our investment in DC through a new workforce readiness initiative with Community College Prep. Through a $1 million grant investment, we're supporting CC Prep to expand their IT Pathways program to include 250 new learners, receiving scholarships for a Google Career Certificate with wraparound supports including one-on-one career and success coaching, wellness services, mental health, and more. Our aim is to place all these learners in fast-growing jobs with family-sustaining wages. These certificates equip people with in-demand job skills in IT support, data analytics, and more in 3 to 6 months with no college degree or experience required. 150 companies now, including Google, Leidos, Booz Allen Hamilton, and more, consider these certificate graduates for entry-level roles. So we are so thrilled to partner with CCP Academy. They're such a well-respected community partner who have a proven track record in skilling folks for these good-paying jobs and working in particular with the underserved Ward 7 and 8 districts. They are such a critical resource in the community, and we are really delighted to work with them. And with that, I'd like to introduce Jason Lodi from CC Prep to share more about how folks can sign up.
I was expecting one of those big checks but I don't see it yet. My name is Jason Lodi. I am the CEO of Community College Preparatory Academy. We are an adult public charter school located in Ward 8, and we'll be celebrating our 10th year of activity as a public charter school next year, deeply rooted in Washington, D.C. I'd like to thank Andrew and Google.org for this important investment in DC residents. We at CC Prep are excited to partner with Google to expand our IT pathway that includes Google Data Analytics as the first of what will become many Google certificates to be offered at CC Prep. This partnership will help DC residents enhance their IT skills in response to the growing need for advanced analytical skills in the workforce. And I'm excited to announce that applications are open today. I invite you to share this information, and if you are interested in this program, you can visit our school website, ccprep-academy.org, to connect with us, start your application, and begin your journey to advancing your IT skill set with a Google Data Analytics Professional Certificate. Thank you, thank Google.org, and I look forward to the amazing outcomes that we will provide for the DC residents who participate. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, both Google and Community College Prep. So I just get the opportunity now to close this out. So how many people learned something new today? All right. If you see somebody without their hand up, ask them how they knew it all, because I learned a lot new today, too. And what we saw on display is the amazing people who do this work every day. But there's also a lot of support of those people. So some of them are here in the room, but there's also people who helped make today possible too, who are going to be here or who were here before we got here today, and will be here well after we leave today. So let's give a round of applause to all the folks who are here, from the interpreters to the camera folks to the soundboard to the people who checked us in. And then a lot of times when people call me with a complex problem and I don't know how to handle it, I just say, well, shoot me an email, and I'll loop in Sharon. So Sharon Carney's here. Let's give her a round of applause for helping us get through today. Natalia is standing on the side there. Let's thank her for pulling us all together today. Lots of emails, lots of calls to get us to where we were today. So listen, over the last 2 years, we faced a lot, right? We experienced sacrifice, right? We knew loss. But we also saw resilience, and that resilience is what we're also here to celebrate today, and it'll allow us to really fuel our comeback. So over the past few years, you've heard the mayor say that we're all in this together, and that we'll get through it together. And so when we think about our comeback, we have to make sure that we have that same spirit of togetherness as we make the comeback more equitable. So that's what today was all about. I got to say that it is great to be back in person again. I just have to remind you, there's one site that you can go to find all this information. Now, give us a little bit of time. It's taking a lot of work to get it all together, but we're going to update it over the next couple days. One more time. What's that website? For those watching us on the stream, it's obviously dc.com. And the hashtag that we want everybody to use is both obviously.dc.com, and it's exciting to be back in the room today with all of you because DC is open. So thank you very much. Check out the website. Keep sharing it. And thank you all for the work that you do every day.